Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Some breaking news here. It seems like law enforcement is now interested in that person that we were talking about. I think they were interested in him yesterday, and that's why they deleted the video that they put out. But they've given us some close-up images of this person. Now, let's take a look at that right now. Here is an image that they put out, and this is the person. And again, we're talking about the Brown University shooting. This is the person who ends up following and running after the suspected suspect. And that suspect was identified by some of the survivors and people that witnessed it. And that's why they believe that that person is the suspect. Now, this person here seems to be somebody that he's associated somehow with the shooter. Okay, and I know exactly where this location is. So let's take a look at, if we go to Google Earth and we go around the corner here, everything's sort of happening right around this historical society building. So you go right here. Now look right there. You see these two brick pillars and a white fence right there. And then there's this little driveway, and it's right next to the brick driveway that we've all seen many times, but we have this little driveway here. Now let's go back to that image, or a sidewalk, I guess is a better term. So here's a little sidewalk, a path that goes out to the street, and then there's the two brick pillars across the street, and that's right there. Now it's interesting because there's two different cameras here on these buildings on this historical society property. There's one right here, and there's one back there. Now, both of those cameras have provided footage in this case. So we're going to go back a little bit. And right here, here's that brick sidewalk. This is coming from the shed. The camera right there is filming this, all right? And that camera also picks up the sidewalk. So that means that other person is standing right here. So if we go back to the footage, let's go back to the footage we were watching yesterday. It's crazy. I think it's before this. Let's see, right here. Yeah, here we go. So first of all, let's compare this person up here. I think it absolutely is the same person. Now that what appears to be a big beard there isn't a beard, it's an optical illusion. But see the white on top of the head there? And he's got a white looking backpack on, wearing all black shoes, very similar clothing, by the way, to the suspect, except he's got like a little bit of a white cap on. So let's go back and find that other footage again, or let's just take a look at like this shot. And so it looked all black, but it's from a distance, right? So look at his hat. His head covering is white. He's got right there a white sort of bag that he's carrying, and 100% that this is the same person. In fact, he's even walking in a similar place. I mean, let's go look at this. If we go back to the surveillance footage right here and scroll it forward, there he is. And just before that is that little path. Now, was he in there right before that? Like if we rewind this right here, just before that is that the sidewalk that led to the street that we see right here. So is it possible that he was walking in there and then he comes out, like maybe he walks out back here again, turns around, and then he walks by? But he's obviously in the area. And so, what their connection is, we don't know, but he's standing there, the suspect on the corner, and he looks back, sees the guy walking over here, and then he starts running down the street in that direction, just like that. Okay, then that other person comes around the corner, looks and sees that he's running down there, and starts running after him, and they run this direction, and then it turns out that the suspect turned left at the end of the block here. Let's just go down to the end of the street. We'll do exactly what the suspect did. And he made it to the end of the block, and he turned left again. And he went walking down this direction. Now that brick building back here has a surveillance camera on it. And this building also has a surveillance camera on it. And so it picks him up walking here, and then a camera right over here picks him up walking. Right at the top, there's two cameras. There's one there, and it looks like there's one right up here, one of those 360-degree dome types. All right, and let's take a look at that footage. Right after this. All right, let's make it bigger so you can see it here, right there. I use Adobe Premiere so you can kind of zoom in and out of things. A lot easier. All right, so you see him walking by that house that I said had a camera on it. And then you can see right above him at a certain point, I think right at the end of when he's walking here, there's a person walking up above, right there. See up here? The feet of another person walking up there. Now, a lot of people are saying that that is the person, but as you can see, he's got white shoes on, and it's not the same person at all. In fact, on the next shot, you can see it even better. See right over there? There's this person. He's walking with 2 cups of coffee, brown hair, totally different person. Here he is right here walking down the street, and so the person is not following him anymore. So did he hand the guy the satchel that he had? Or, you know, it's hard to tell if he had a satchel with him. But then he starts running again, going around the block again. I mean, this is absolutely nuts. Just look at what he's doing here. I'll go up above on the map and show you. So originally, if you remember, he's standing right here in front of the Historical Society building, looking down this street. Let's just look at it like this. Remember how he was standing right here, and he was right on the corner, and he's looking down the street. Let's take a look at that again. I think this is really fascinating. So that's when he's running. We go back to the previous time he was there, which is right here. Now look, he's walking, and see how he's looking back? He's looking right down the street where that person would be. It's amazing. And then now he's at the corner. See the fire hydrant right there and the sign. That means he's at the corner given the angle of the camera. It's wild. And then he starts walking down the street. And then this is when he's at that corner over here. And he looks and sees him. And then he runs. And then the camera actually stops because it's motion activated. So they fill in the next 7 or 8 seconds with a still frame from 2:36, and then, from 2:16 and 36 seconds. And then that person comes around the corner, and he starts running after him. I mean, it's absolutely wild what's going on here. He seems to be aware of that person for quite some time and is looking at him. You know, somebody made a good point. Is it possible that person noticed that he was loitering and sort of following him around the area because he was suspicious of him? Or is there something more connected to the crime that they're associated with? Let's see. Let's just kind of look at this again from above. So what I was going to explain a minute ago from above, I know this is I'm just kind of stream of consciousness going through this because to me, it's just... this kind of stuff is exciting to me. All right, so originally the guy was standing right over here loitering, you know, just kind of walking back and forth. Remember, he puts his hands behind his back, almost like he's whistling, like when he saw that other person coming. And he's standing on the corner, and then eventually he goes this direction, down here, and he's standing on this corner over here. And then he looks down this direction, you know, this way, and sees that guy coming. So then he runs this way. Then that other person, who may or may not have been on that little sidewalk area, saw him, walked over here, maybe didn't notice that he had started running yet. And then when he got here, he saw that he was running, and he ran after him. Starting about this point, he started running after him down the street. Then the suspect walked this direction, is filmed on camera at this house, 157 Hope. And then that secondary shot that they didn't add to their montage the other day, but they released, came from this camera right here. And then he goes around the corner again, but he's running this time. It's crazy. He's running down the street here. So let's look at that part one more time when he's running. So that's coming up here right after this. I think it's in this one. Yeah, there he goes. Now, does he keep running around the corner, or what does he do here? And he slows down and he goes around the corner, but he's walking really fast. So is he meeting back up with that guy again? Perhaps on the property, and that's why we see him in images like this? Because again, that place that he's standing right there is right through there. He's just standing right there. This is the brick sidewalk, and there's another little sidewalk right in there that he's standing at. And he's walking on this property. So 110 Benevolent Street seems to have some sort of nexus between these individuals. Pretty crazy, guys, but there you have it. Thank you all very much for watching. If you get that like button, that would be great. We're going to stay on this case and follow it until the end. I think they're hopefully getting close to something at some point soon here, because I think somebody out there is going to recognize this person, this new image that we have. Somebody will probably recognize this person, and they'll be able to talk to him, and whether that leads to the killer, or we'll just figure out why he was running after him. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully it leads to capturing the killer. All right, so thank you all very much for watching. If you could hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. Share the video and subscribe, and we are going to keep covering this case. So again, thanks for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.